Okay,
Got
yeah,
it.
hi. So I'm joined by Will Kinchin this afternoon, who is the business owner of his own company, Will Works. So I'll pass over to you, Will, if you'd like to tell us what it is you do and how long you've been running the business for. Yeah, that'd be great to hear.
Cool. Well, yeah, so we're a multidisciplinary graphic design studio specializing in creative brand identity designs, campaign design and art direction, which can sound a bit waffly, but it generally we just deliver creative ideas for all of our clients, and it kind of, there's not really a kind of set thing. We don't just do logos or just do brochures. We kind of work with people to deliver all kinds of things. We're based in a little studio in an old wharf building in Penryn, which is quite nice, next to the sea. There's a bunch of other creative studios in here and an art gallery, so it's a really nice place to kind of run a business like this. And yeah, and we've got a small team in house, but we also have a kind of much bigger collection of highly skilled freelancers we work with as well. So we kind of cherry pick the best talent for different projects. But yeah, we've made films, we've designed sets and interiors, we've written poetry, we've done murals, as well as your normal kind of logos, brand guidelines, brochures, and that kind of stuff. So it's a real kind of creative, I don't know, mix up of different things, which is really lovely.
Yeah,
and our clients,
quite nice, varied.
Yeah, and our clients, again, they come in all shapes and sizes as well. We work in hospitality, construction, design, retail, recruitment, and also non-for-profit, which we really like, actually, working when we can for people with an ethical and environmental focus. So currently working with a number of sustainable energy companies. We're working for a ocean conservation charity, and even a small charity that is helping sick children in Malawi in Africa. So as well as kind of doing kind of more kind of corporate and bigger stuff, we're always trying to make sure we're doing good things for good people as well.
Oh, fantastic. That's good to hear. That also sort of goes on to one of my questions. I was going to ask if your clients are predominantly based here in Cornwall in the southwest, or you cover sort of a wider region.
It's probably about 50-50. I mean, one of our biggest, which I'll probably get to speak on to a bit more, is Surface Against Sewage, which are obviously a very well-known Cornish charity.
Yeah.
And so we do lots of kind of campaign work for them to help with all different parts of their kind of, all the different campaigns, whether it be end sewage pollution, whether it's the beach cleans, whether it's the ocean schools. So we do a lot of work with them. However, we also we work with a sustainable energy company down here as well. But yeah, then we do have other clients from all over the country. In fact, I mean, one of our clients is in Jamaica. So it's kind of,
cool.
I think it's just the nature of things these days. Everyone can kind of work everywhere.
Yeah, that's good. And then how long has the business been running for, Will? I mean, how have you had to work through the pandemic? Did you set up prior or post pandemic?
Well, I guess, I mean, so I've been in the industry now for about nearly 15 years, and kind of cut my teeth in London and Sydney, working for some top agencies, and that kind of gave me the confidence to go out on my own about 5 years ago. But I set up Will Works as it currently is and moved down here 3 years ago. Yeah, and since then I've been working with my own clients and kind of collaborating with different freelancers ever since. And yeah, that did go through the pandemic, and it was an interesting one because I was all ready to agree working quite remotely, because I didn't have the budget to have a big studio, and I kind of had clients, you know, in London and around Sydney, as well as kind of in Cornwall. I was kind of doing the remote thing before it was a thing. So when you know, when kind of everything, you know, kind of COVID hit and everything got hard, yes, our clients got, you know, a bit tight with budgets and certain projects went on hold. But in terms of our general working, it didn't really change things. I moved from a co-working space back to a kind of makeshift office at home, like everyone else, you know, kind of finding bits and bobs that resemble desks and kind of squeezing into the corner of bedrooms. But so I did that. Actually, that made me realize I wanted my own studio rather than to be in a co-working space. So I guess coming out of the pandemic, that was then on my horizon. I was like, actually, rather than just being me in a co-working space, I kind of want some people. I want a studio, and I want to work with the people rather than everything being remote. So yes, still a lot of things are remote and we work with people all over the place. But I do now have a studio that I can, I've got a student working with me in here from the university, and some of my freelancers I collaborate come in and work in here, which has just kind of taken it to the next level really, and made it a much more kind of rewarding day. I don't know, I can chat to stuff. I've got lunch buddies.
Yeah. And you're just down the road, from Origin, the warehouse?
Yeah, but that's dangerous.
Yeah.
But spend a lot of time
yeah, good toasties.
Yeah.
So did your business, you sort of saying you worked from home a bit, did your business have to take any sort of major actions following the pandemic? Any changes, any losses of staff or loss of clients at all?
In a funny sort of, well, a few clients did disappear. However, I mean, I've probably got to give it to them, like Surface Against Sewage really kind of stepped up, and their view was, well, the world's on hold in terms of like financially because of COVID, but we're still in an environmental crisis. We've still got pollution coming to the oceans. We've still got all of this stuff. We need people to still realize that we've got to keep fighting this. So actually, even though a few things did kind of drop away and it got a bit quieter, I worked with them on a number of projects through that year, because ultimately it still mattered, and which was, which is great to work on stuff because I feel like I'm doing a good thing, but it actually really helped me through that year because it gave me a consistent kind of flow of work. So yeah, we also, I probably should say, had a baby in that year as well. So the slight kind of lull wasn't wasn't necessarily the kind of I don't know, being a new dad and maybe not being quite as busy as I had been the year before wasn't too bad.
Your time was definitely filled.
yeah, very much so.
Are there any sort of main issues that you face within your industry on a sort of weekly basis? Anything that you have to overcome, or do you sort of you've got good smooth runnings there now at the business?
Sorry, what was that? Could you repeat that?
So any sort of like main, do you have any sort of actions that you sort of had to take, or any sort of implications that you have in your business at all? I guess potentially working with people overseas, are any complications there, or?
Probably not. I think because we just generally have been working quite remotely and fluidly since the get-go, it's not like it's suddenly kind of forced a massive change in the way we work. It probably more actually just having that space to reflect on what I wanted to do with the business and actually creating a proper studio is probably the biggest change. But in terms of any sort of like really big change we had to make, it hasn't affected too much. But then having the studio is then meant, as a knock-on from COVID, has meant that I've now started to get more and looking at potentially like employing people and working with people more and trying to actually make the business more of a proper, what it is, proper studio, and kind of grow it that way rather than just being me behind a desk in a co-working space. But
sure.
it's not like some massive kind of, I don't know, a massive change I can kind of say other than that really.
How many people sort of work alongside you, Will? You sort of have freelance people and then people in the team. How many altogether? Well,
so I've got a student in who's been working with me quite closely the last few months. We've got my partner that helps with a lot of kind of the accounts and some project management. And in terms of like the consistent freelancers that kind of come in on most projects, we've got a writer, a filmmaker, an animator, an illustrator, and maybe 2 photographers. So it's like the initial team that's here like every day is like somewhere between like 1 and 3, but then when it comes to projects, there's a good 6 to 8 people that I'm regularly speaking to, and then probably another 10 or so different creatives that every now and then, when I specifically need something, we pull them in as well. So it's quite nice because it means that I can put together really good kind of talented teams that are just right for a project, rather than trying to kind of hire a few jack of all trades and try and offer everything in-house. It's like no, like we kind of art direct and oversee and have the kind of creative concept in-house, and we pull in the right people to to do the work, which
Mhm.
it's kind of great. It just makes us a bit more agile, probably makes us a bit more cost effective.
Yeah, of course.
And then for us, it's just nice, like other people come in and they bring new energy and ideas to the table, which is always good.
Have you sort of used the university? So have you sort of employed any sort of freelance people that were previous students and are now sort of working for themselves? Worked well?
What? Yeah, so it's funny you should mention that. So yeah, so I do have a student in right now who graduated this year. I'm still at the very early days of like that, employing the first proper employee and kind of really kind of growing. So we've set up an intern scheme, and he's going to be with us quite a while. And that was kind of a knock-on effect of, I do actually go in with the university and work on I kind of go in and just kind of help out on the BA graphic design and the MA communications courses.
Okay, yep.
And it's kind of just like bouncing ideas around with the students and helping them with their portfolios, and generally just being like a kind of outside kind of mind that they can, chat to and get a different opinion. And for me, it's great. So I just get to go in and chat to creative students all day, which is always good fun.
Yeah, I guess it's nice for them to see that there's such a successful company sort of working within the same town as the university, which is always, aspiring to see.
Yeah, and it's, for me, it's great when you kind of, in terms of being inspired, like when, I might kind of chat to a student and we bounce some ideas around and they'll go off and develop that idea, but then they'll come back and have not only developed it, they'll have taken it somewhere I'd never have thought of.
Yeah,
which in a funny sort of way, I'm like, wow, that's amazing, like, that's so cool, like, well done, but then there's another little bit of me that's like, oh shit, they're going to be quite a competition in a few years to come. So,
yeah.
But no, it's all good, and I do enjoy that side of it, so it's always nice when they kind of call up and ask me to pop in.
Yeah. And then where do you sort of see the future of the business going in 5 years or so? Where do you see Will work?
Well, I'd like it to be a touch bigger, but I don't think I want it to be a massive company. Like I'm trained as a graphic designer and thinker and creative, and I love that side of the job. And I think I wouldn't want it to get so big that I just become a manager. Like the one thing that I think will always be a part of Will Works, in not to sound cheesy, is Will. Like I want to be, kind of hands-on and working with everyone, even if the team gets a bit bigger. I don't want it to become, I just become some kind of manager and everything kind of gets a bit watered down and farmed out to different people. Like I think we'll always be quite small and agile, hopefully bigger than we are now. And the studio doesn't have any windows, so it would be nice to have a window. So yeah, over the next 5 years, slightly bigger and a window. but yeah, still, I think, I like the way it's going now. But yeah, I think we could amp it up a little bit over the years.
Fantastic. And then finally, sort of looking back at an 18-year-old Will, would there be any advice that you would give to yourself in terms of going at it alone and setting up your own business?
Well, I wanted to come straight out of uni and just I wanted to stay down here. Actually, I did go to Falmouth, I don't know how many years ago now, but I wanted to just kind of stay and do my own thing a little bit, but my kind of tutor said, like go off, take advice, take criticism, listen to people, learn from the best, and that's what enabled me to do this. Learning, going and working with some top designers in some top places has given me the skills and the confidence to be able to then do my own thing and feel like I can stand up for myself and my creativity and my worth and be like, yeah, no, this is a kind of good idea, or this is the right way to go, and really feel that. So I think maybe not running into stuff, too soon, and being a bit more, I've forgotten what the word is, but being able to like just kind of sit back and learn from better people for a while is good. And also just following what you need to do. Like I was going to jump back to like college me, like I didn't know what graphic design was. I didn't know, I just liked art, and I wasn't very good at the academic stuff, so I just followed that, and then that led to photography and illustration, and quite late on did I discover what graphic design was, and even later on than that did I learn what an idea was in relation to graphic design. Coming up with ideas, like you can make a job out of coming up with good ideas for people, no way. And that all came from just following what I wanted to do, you know, even if I didn't know what that job was or what I was leading, I just knew that I liked it. And I'd say to anyone, like, that's, you know, I mean, I'm sure, I mean, I, you know, luckily have supportive parents and kind of friends, and, you know, I can't say that, like, well, I was lucky enough that I was able to follow what I wanted to do to the point where it became a career for me. That's what I would advise anyone to do if they can.
Yeah, no, it's good. It sounds like you're in a good place, and envious of your studio location, as we say. But fantastic. That brings the interview to an end.